All right, guys. So we have just wrapped up watching UFC Austin. So what do you think about the card? It's kind of a mixed feeling card for most people, but I think it was pretty good.
Well, we had a lot of homers on there.
Yeah, being from Texas, how can we not love that card?
Yeah. So for the
And
most
how
part,
good did the Texans do?
the Houston Texans, the football team, they're shitty.
I'm talking about the fighters on the card.
They did. I think they all won. All the Texas guys.
It sounded like it, yeah. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and cover some of these highlights. Some of the main highlights. There were some OGs on this card.
Oh, yeah, your boy Josh Burkman.
Yeah.
Fun fact about him, he's 0-2 versus people from Houston.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got beat tonight, obviously, and then can't remember, what was it, 2010? He lost against
Yeah. All right.
UFC Fight Night main event. Oh, who did he fight?
Some old guy who's retired now doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So Burkman, a little history for you guys. Burkman was my first main event in the UFC, and it was my first fight at welterweight, and a tough fight. I mean, definitely a tough fight.
For him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough fight for both of us. My first fight cutting down, and we put on a pretty tough show. It wasn't my best performance, and this is one of those things where people are like, how are you so tight with Dana, and Dana helps you out so much. He did the commercial for the gym, and but they don't see that Dana's Dana. Then he has a good side, and then he'll tell you how it is if it's bad too. And the Burkman fight was one of the fights he came in the locker room and told me that I fought like shit. And I won.
Even though you won. Yeah,
I won the fight and dominated, in my opinion. It was more of a takedown fight where I dropped down. It was a main event fight. I was excited. Billboard, they had the whole palms thing in the front and see yourself on the little slot machines and all that. I was kind of overwhelmed by all that. And then I was coming off a loss against Yushin Okami. So I was dropping from middleweight to welterweight.
Which was in Houston.
In Houston, yeah, against my hometown crowd. And I was fighting a guy who does a lot of takedowns. And it became a match for me where I was defending the takedown versus just trying to win the fight like I usually do, throwing punches and trying to knock somebody out. And so it became like a takedown contest, which I did defend the takedowns. I only went down one time, which I pulled guard for, I think, a guillotine choke. So I did defend his takedowns, but I didn't fight my normal style. And another fun fact about that fight is it was sponsored by Rambo, the latest Rambo movie, of which Dana happened to send me to the audition for to be one of the mercenaries.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know this.
Oh, well, this is going to be a fun fact for you. You're going to love it.
How do I not know this?
You'll love the story. So what happened was they were auditioning for Rambo, and somehow they wanted UFC fighters to audition as one of the mercenaries, which was one of the main guys. I think there were 3 of them. And I got picked to be one of those guys. So Dana flew me down to Los Angeles, and I went to the Rambo. They have these like headquarters offices, like these little like almost trailer type things, but it's all like set up with the Rambo stuff, right? And I went in there and I auditioned as a mercenary, and I had like a really hard role. It was like I had to learn all this, like it was tough, man. It was like, it wasn't like just lines like, I'm going to kill you. And it was like, I had to know about the guns and the details, and I was like putting them together and stuff. It was really difficult. So, they said I did the best ever, but I didn't get it.
You didn't get the part?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They said I did good, but they said that to everybody. And
I did not know you auditioned for Rambo.
I did, 100%. Yeah, and then I didn't get the part. So that being a possibility, and Rambo being my favorite movie growing up, obviously, small town Texas boy watching Rambo, that hurt. That stung. So by absolute total coincidence, several months later, when I get this main event fight, guess what it's sponsored by? Rambo.
Under Armour.
Yeah. Today I'm sponsored by Under Armour. Not officially.
Well, at least you got to experience that.
Yeah, but it's different when you go out there to fight and you're already nervous about a fight, and then it's your first fight at welterweight, it's a main event, and then it's Rambo everywhere. It's like the movie you didn't make, the movie you didn't make. And then Sylvester Stallone is sitting literally front row.
Which, by the way, there's a hoax going tonight, right now as we speak, that he died.
I don't want to hear it. You told me that. You texted me that earlier.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know it. It's
a hoax, though, right? For sure, or no?
Yeah. No, I mean.
So he didn't die?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because I'd break my heart. I really like that guy. I really do. And he was at my fight, and then I performed like shit because I was doing takedowns. I won the fight, and then Dana said I didn't do good, and then Sylvester Stallone, I mean, I don't know what he said, but he was probably
Well, there was a guy on this card that
sucked.
didn't perform to his best and still won somehow.
Yeah, so it's weird seeing. That was way sidelined, but I was weird seeing Burkman still fighting. I mean, I've been retired for quite some time now, and then Burkman came out full beard and took the fight on short notice. I think 2 weeks notice, and didn't work out for him, which sucks seeing the OGs go down like that.
God, but we're older than him.
Deep guillotine. I venture to say that was a Swick. I'm not 100% sure. It looked like one is all I'm saying. I don't know for sure if it was one. It looked like one.
That was against Joe Riggs, right?
Yeah.
The Swick.
But anyway, so yeah, Burkman lost, and it was going kind of back and forth in the beginning, and I thought he was doing okay. I mean, I thought he didn't look like old and washed up or anything like that, in my opinion. But, man, that guillotine was just sunk in there, and there was nothing you could do about that. So, mad respect to Alex Morano.
Yeah.
He did the job, and he got a big win. And it was crazy because he had said how he looked up to Josh Burkman, and it was a big fight for him. And he's a Texas boy. We grew up in the same area. And he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think a judo black belt.
We've seen him fight in Legacy before.
Yeah, and he's good.
Yeah.
As it turns out, Texas boys are good. I happen to be one of the first. Me and
Eve Edwards.
And a man by the name of Len Oding, who I will say has a movie out right now, who is directorial debut in a feature film. I think it's his directorial debut. He's definitely been a stunt coordinator, and he's been a stuntman for years and years and years since we started fighting back in the old days. Braven. So go and check that out. And it's starring one of the main actors in Game of Thrones, Moma.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but it's the big guy.
I've read the book.
It's a good movie. It's actually a good movie. It's really good. And you can tell it's directed by an action guy. It's a lot of crazy action sequences and people die in cool ways, which you'll appreciate, I know.
So, yeah.
So
Len Odin couldn't get you that part in Rambo? He couldn't help you?
He couldn't, no. But now he's a director. So now he has finally the power to do stuff. So
maybe he'll direct Rambo 11 or whatever.
Yeah, Len, when you get at and he's in his next
movie,
too, Len. I happen to hear it's going to be a big budget movie. So hopefully he'll take care of his boy at that time.
I like that guy. He was here for about a week, remember?
Yeah. Fun fact about Len Oding is he slept on my couch in a Hello Kitty blanket.
Sawadi meow?
He probably didn't want that to be said on the podcast, but it's a true story. Yeah, it was late one night.
He took my Saved by the Bell pillowcase, too.
Yeah, we went out one night, and he didn't want to go back to his hotel and stayed right here on the couch.
I will say he is Hollywood because he only drinks the finest water.
He does. He goes into the store.
I hope he watches this.
And he buys Evian.
Which I didn't even know they sold in Thailand.
Yeah, because the water's like 5 cents in Thailand. But he finds Evian, so he drinks the finest.
$2 each.
Not here, it's like probably like 75 cents, but still
yeah,
for Thailand, you know.
We can get a 6-pack for that.
You'll get it stolen when you walk out of 7-Eleven. Like you literally got to hold it with 2 hands.
I got jumped for water.
Yeah. So, fun fact about my buddy Len Oding. But yeah, so he went the route of Hollywood, and Eve Edwards and myself went the route of fighting. And then, as we see tonight, many more awesome fighters coming out of Texas.
Alex, Sage,
which brings us to another big fight on the card.
Sage Northcutt.
That's right. And one of us happens to be a old Texas, Katy Tigers Texas boy.
We go. Not me.
Yeah. Katy Tigers. Go Katy Tigers.
Do you know, if you want to do a fun fact, you moved to my hood in 96. That would be right when he was born, I believe. So when you were catching passes there at that high school.
I was catching a lot of passes in Katy, being Katy Tigers.
That's crazy.
By the way.
Sitting down on that pine? I don't know.
So wait a minute. Sage was born in 96?
Something like that. What is he, 23, 24?
So that's exactly when I was in Katy. I was at Katy High School. I was Katy Tigers. So I played for Katy and then moved to Clear Lake after that. I lived in quite a few different cities around Houston.
Obviously I'm going to root for him because he's a Texas guy. But I got to admit that I didn't see him winning that fight.
No, I didn't either. I'll be honest.
I don't know. Like before I thought he was going to win. But the actual fight, I really thought he got taken down way more than 4 times, they said in the fight. You got 4 or 5 just in the 5th round.
We counted almost round. 6 if you counted every time he pulled him off the cage. It was like 6 times in the 3rd round. But in the 1st round, as we saw in the replay at the end, it looked like a knockdown. So I think that was kind of the determining factor. He got nailed with a good punch. He took it, and then he got nailed with another, I think, right. And as he got hit with the right, he fell forward and turned it into a takedown. But I think he was falling anyway. I think that was a take. I mean, I think that was a knockdown. And if that was a knockdown, that would have put him as losing the first round, losing the second round, and I don't see how he could have won the third round. Now, in that case,
I don't get it either, man. That's
like I said, I like
and
Sage.
all three judges when it was a unanimous decision.
I like Sage, and he's from Katie. So I mean, I'm nothing against Sage. I just don't see how he won that fight, in my personal opinion.
I think he got lucky. Judges, obviously.
Yeah.
So
if there was favoritism, I think it was in that fight for sure, because I honestly, we watched it and we rewatched part of it, and we just don't see how he won that fight.
I mean,
he was on his back for literally an entire round. He got knocked down, 90% sure on the first round.
In the third round, too, 2 or 3 takedowns got stuffed.
Yeah, I mean, and he went for takedowns. Now, I will say this. He had a hell of an athletic takedown in the first round.
Yeah, but
he got caught with something, and right when he got caught, I mean, he got caught and then he got a takedown. I mean, they equal each other out. Maybe the takedown is a little bit more important, but that was a very athletic power shot takedown. But he lost every other takedown, it seemed. Almost every single other one he got smashed.
Was it after the second round, even his dad's like, look, it's 1-1.
We're going, and Uriah said it. Uriah said, you're down a round.
You're right.
Or that was going into the third, right? So
going into the third, yeah, because it was 1-1.
So Uriah, his cornerman, said he lost the second round. If he got knocked down, if that wasn't knocked down in the first, for sure he lost the first round. If not, it was still close. And then in the third round, we know he didn't win. I mean, how could he have won? He spent the entire time on his back. So, and you look at significant, or not significant, but strikes, he outstruck him from the ground. But then again, I mean, it was, 6 minutes controlled for,
Yeah.
And
6 minutes to a minute 4. I think, or something
so
like
he had him by 4 minutes of control time. He had 4 takedowns, I think, on him. And that's not counting each time he pulled him off the cage. So, I don't know. So, again, hats off to Sage for being athletic, and he went out there and fought hard. He took a lot of hard shots, and he kept fighting. And he showed he's definitely a warrior, but I just don't see how that fight went his way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? Katie Tigers sometimes lose, man. I know we don't lose in football, but sometimes we
Nobody
lose in fights,
on here
but
knows
we still win. I mean, this shows you how strong Katie is. You can lose a fight and still win.
Bayside Tigers or Katy Tigers? Who you got?
I don't want to say by the bow. That's why I don't know where that's
my
from.
second reference.
That's why I don't know where that's from.
Well, you just good call. Good call.
All right, so Steven Peterson, Brandon Davis. I think that Peterson was from the Contender show, if I remember correctly. I think he was. Yeah. I don't follow these two guys very well, so I'll be honest about it. Davis won the fight. Obviously, he won every single round. He was dominant. Peterson did show how strong and tough he was. He hung in there. He took a really hard shot in the third round, but just wasn't enough. So he went on the Contender. He got in the UFC. He's in there. So he is in the UFC, but Brandon Davis definitely won that fight.
I think he did well enough to at least deserve a second fight in there. I mean, for sure.
He's tough. He's tough, and he's young. He's coming off the Contender show. So I mean, he's got to work his way up, And Brandon Davis just seemed to be a tough test for him right now. Another OG in the fight tonight was Thiago Alves. Now that's crazy because back when I was fighting a long time ago, he was the man. I mean, he was the one you said was the scariest guy you wanted me to fight, or
that was the last
fight.
Yeah, it's the last guy I ever wanted you to fight.
Yeah, he was a scary dude, man. He had beat everyone at that time except getting the championship. I mean, he beat Koscheck. He beat, I think, Caro. He beat a who's who in the welterweight division at that time.
I mean, it
was a long time ago.
8 years ago.
I mean, don't act like I'm that old. I mean,
well, you are. You feel even older. He's only 34 right now.
I was going to say.
Yeah, so
that made me feel much better.
When I'm the same age as you, dude.
When they announced his age, and I knew like where he was when I was, and then I was like, God, really? So
I think your autograph's worth more on eBay though.
Stop.
It
anyway,
is.
so
fun fact, $99.
Yeah, some special limited edition one or something with like my socks on it or something.
That's what we should do. Why don't we just sign
Fun
something
fact though, Topps, when they do collect your cards, they do ask. Back then, they asked you for a used sweaty shirt. You had to give them a used sweaty shirt of which they cut pieces of it up and put it onto the card.
How'd that smell?
Dirty. And they brought
scratch and sniff, or was it just regular?
Maybe, but they brought a bag and you put it in the bag. Fun fact for you guys. Yeah, they take part of the canvas. It was canvas series, part of the canvas of the UFC. They cut up in little pieces, and then shirt series, like fight shirts. But it was like training shirts. It wasn't even like the shirts that we fought in. It was like just they would come to the gym and want us to train in a shirt. And then when it was just disgustingly sweaty and, AKA bloody and everything else, then they took it and
I want to get one.
Cut it into pieces. Ugh.
I don't know why I want to get one.
I don't know. So anyway, obviously the fight didn't go Thiago's way. He fought Curtis Melinder, and he
looked great.
He looked outstanding. I mean, he's known for his kicks and his reach, and obviously he's just a overall good striking guy, and he put everything together right and then landed that big knee, and that was brutal. And Thiago also took another big punch or a big strike in that fight. And
Melinder just backed away like he won and had to go back.
Yeah.
For him to compose himself, do all that, and then go back.
That's a scary thing, man, because
what's great, after the knee to the face, he did it again.
Yeah.
It's like you just learned 4 minutes ago you're not supposed to do that. But obviously he's.
It's a scary thing, man, because when you see something like that, and then Thiago's one of the toughest guys, man. He's one of the toughest guys in the UFC.
That was his first fight in the UFC, too. Imagine fighting that guy for your first fight.
Yeah, and you never want to give us any space to that guy. And so to put your hands up and just expect him to be out, you can't do that. I mean, as we saw, he got back on the fight. And there was that part of me that was thinking, like, man, if you lose this fight now, that's going to suck. That's going to sting. You literally had Thiago Alves down. But anyway, so yeah, Thiago took that knee, unfortunately, and he was pretty much out. I think they did a good job of stopping that fight at the right time. He could have taken some more punches. It would have been.
It would have been the same. It would have been that.
It didn't change anything. It didn't change.
Good though. I look forward to seeing him fight again.
Absolutely. So next we got James Vick versus Trinaldo.
Yes.
And
James Vick again from Texas.
Right. This fight's okay. So it started out with James Vick. Obviously, he's a good fighter. There's no doubt about that.
He was 12-1.
Yeah, this kid's a good fighter for sure. But to say he's the most well-rounded, he said he was the biggest and most well-rounded fighter
in the world.
In his pre-fight interview. That fight isn't how you're going to fight the top guys. And then, of course, at the end, he called out guys like Khabib and come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say he's a good fighter, and I will say Trinaldo's a tough opponent, even though Trinaldo missed the majority of his punches. I've never seen someone miss so many punches. He was throwing with everything he had. Yeah. He threw one punch where he landed on the ground. I mean, he literally threw so hard that he landed on his face on the ground by himself. That's a hard punch. But in my opinion, from what I saw, Vic seemed to be running most of the fight. So
he would hit once, run
and
back.
Then run.
Hit once, run.
He spent most of his time. If you look at that fight, he spent the majority of his time running away. So it was almost like a point fighting fight. You're never going to make it to the top, and you're never going to fight guys like Khabib and Ferguson and Lee, and then calling out Lee too.
Leo Santos would take him.
Leo Santos would eat that guy alive, eat him alive. So when you got guys like that, you're not going to get to the level to fight those guys if you're backing up running. These guys don't take steps backwards. They never take steps backwards, and if they do, it's to set something else up to come forward. He literally turned his back and ran. So nothing against James Vick as far as a fighter. He's learning, he's growing, but he's not going to be fighting these high-level guys that he's calling out and having any kind of good performances against those guys running like that, for sure. They'll eat him alive.
Do you remember that? You used to do that stat. I haven't seen it for a couple of years, where distance traveled in the octagon.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how far.
The third round especially, second and third round, but the third round, I think it was almost all running away. He would strike and then run away. Then he'd do a spinning heel kick and run away. And he'd miss a spinning heel kick because he's like a foot taller than his opponent. So
he tried 61 flying knees. None of them.
I don't know if it's 61. It might not have been 61.
I didn't ask my statistician. But
who?
My statistician.
Is that what it is?
Do you not know what a statistician is?
Well, I don't have one. So
me.
Who needs one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But congrats to Vic for winning. I mean, hey, it's a win's a win. I get it. But still, like you said, if you want to move up and fight the higher tier guys.
Yeah, no, he's not going to get those fights like that. He's going to have another fight where he's going to have to prove himself. And my advice,
he finished his last 3 fights.
It might be pointless to him to have my advice. But if I was to give him advice, I would say you need to go after somebody and show some aggression, because the UFC doesn't like to see you running from people, especially when you're winning a fight. If you're winning a fight, be dominant. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if you're getting caught and you're saving yourself so that you can, land something later on and maybe win. But like, man, when you're winning a fight, you shouldn't be landing strikes and then running away and then landing a strike and then running away. It's just in my opinion. But, okay. So then we have,
is it Derrick Lewis?
That's your boy. That's your boy.
I like that guy, man.
You love Derrick Lewis.
From Houston.
Fighting Thibault was super tough guy. Usually we see guys like, Derrick Lewis going out there, and especially heavyweight, fighting like that in the first round, that's it. That's over. You know what I mean? They don't have any energy left, or at least very, very much of it. But man, he has a tank for a big dude. I mean, he's not shredded. He's big. He's not shredded, but dude, he has a tank, and like he used it, or he had some heart. One of the two.
I think
something kicked in because
like when he fought Hunt, he was not in this shape.
No,
he was not in this good a shape. So
well, he got another chance now.
Yeah.
Now he's coming back. Maybe he's more hungry.
Yeah.
You know, he learned his lesson.
Well, he didn't eat. What did he eat? Corn or chicken or some shit on the. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Apparently he was eating that between rounds, or not between rounds, right before the fight for the Hunt fight.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm sure he didn't do that because he actually, I mean, he came out strong in the first round. Obviously, Thibault won the second round and dominated, landed a lot of stuff, and maintained top position for the majority of the round. But he came back strong in that third round, and man, put him away, and that's what you got to do.
I do like him.
And then both quotes of the night came from the same guy.
Phenomenal.
Both quotes of the night came from the same guy. You remember?
Yeah. He when he told Jimmy Smith, you don't probably understand because you're new to the game.
You're new to the game. You came from Bellator to Jimmy Smith.
And then still the quote of the night.
The official quote of the night
was, "Hey April."
Is that his?
I assume, yeah.
Did he say
wife.
that?
I'm sure.
Did he say her name?
He says, "April, I'm going in deep tonight." I don't know if he meant the month that he's going to train hard.
No, I don't think he meant the month.
I'm pretty much sure that he meant he's going to bang the shit out of his woman. Which, God bless him, you should. You know.
It's amazing. I love when people just say crazy stuff after fights. He said he's going to go deep. So we know what happened next. We don't have
good
to
for
do
you,
a wrap
April.
up on that.
Yeah. Wonder what they're doing right now.
There's that fight. That fight's in the books, and poor girl, huh? Poor girl. And then, of course, the main event: Donald Cerrone, Yancy, Medeiros.
I believe that's how you say it. Yes.
I don't want to say his name incorrect. Tough guy, won a lot of fights, and a very formidable opponent to fight Donald Cerrone. But man, Donald Cerrone was just on point. I mean, he knocked him down 3 times?
I think so.
And
well, they hugged 11 times.
Yeah, so. They did hug a lot. Now, I will say this, though. I do like seeing that sportsmanship.
Yeah.
I do like seeing the sportsmanship. I don't like seeing over sportsmanship. I don't think you should have to hug too many times during a fight, but I love seeing it in the beginning. And if you land a good punch on somebody, it's kind of cool to give them a nice nod and smile. That's okay.
That's so much better than the fake,
I hate the fake stuff.
The fake bullshit in between.
I hate when you come out talking so much trash. You want to kill each other, and you've built this whole fight up, and as soon as the fight's over, you're kissing each other and hugging each other. I love you, man, so much. It's like, be real, that gets me. But that didn't happen. And what happened was Donald Cerrone got the knockout and became, he says tied, but who's he tied with? Is it GSP?
It's GSP.
It's most fights in UFC history. Most fights in UFC history and most wins in UFC history.
No, most wins and most finishes.
Oh, finishes, you're right.
Yeah, most wins with 20 with Bisping.
That's
and,
right. You're right.
What's his name? GSP. And then most finishes.
So there's 14. A 3-way tie now for 20?
Yeah.
Wow. And then most finishes, it's probably just him.
So if you went on an 11-fight win streak before they ever fought again, you could catch him, huh?
Well, thank you.
I think you should do it, dude.
That's really...
We can do another comeback series.
Wow. 10 years in my career, and you're telling me 11 more wins.
Maybe if you fought Cerrone, you get a chance to kiss his grandmother afterwards.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's.
I thought he was saying. I thought Yancy was going to his own family.
No.
He went to Cerrone's family, and
was that his mother or grandmother?
Grandmother, I think.
I think grandmother.
I think they said grandmother.
I mean,
yeah. Well. Hey. So as it turns out, this was an entertaining card, right?
Yeah.
So, definitely got our approval on entertainment value. We enjoyed that card.
Anytime
for sure.
a 7-year-old woman gets kissed, I'm in for it.
A lot of respect between them too. And they mentioned they were friends, so I think it was a little deeper than fight week. I think these guys must have been training partners from before.
Oh yeah, they must have known each other way before.
They had to have. And to go kiss somebody's grandmother. I mean, I've had some friends semi-friends that I fought, but I didn't go seek their family members out after the fight. So
Cerrone kind of made them. But
yeah, so I think.
But hats off to him, dude, for breaking or tying those records and stuff, man.
Yeah. So anyway, good fight. We won't make this too long, but
we always end up rambling about dumb shit. So
we add a little bit to it, somewhat. But anyway, so let us know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments. We didn't cover some of the fights, but these are the main fights, the highlights for us. We're Texas boys. We got to cover all the Texas fights, obviously. Yeah. But it was a good card, man. Great excitement. A lot more finishes and more excitement than I expected, to be honest with you.
Especially for being, it was Monday in Thailand.
Yeah.
And then
I'm interested to see what happened to Sage as far as like he performed so well in certain areas, but then like we said, you know, we obviously didn't think he won the fight, but it's interesting to see who he fights next. I want to see him fight another fight. You know, I want to see where he's at, because I don't think that fight showed where he was at, and I don't know. There could have been a reason. You never know, you know, with UFC fighters, because you can't make an excuse. You can't come out there and say I'm sick or something happened during fight week or whatever the case. So it's like you never know 100% what the deal is. So I want to see him fight again, just for the old Katy Tigers
I'll watch.
pride.
Wow.
You know, he's one of my old boys from Katy Tigers.
Reliving your pre-high school days, huh?
Just saying, dude. It's a small group of guys get to be on that elite team. You know, one of Texas's best football teams ever.
65 a year, and the school's been open.
Doesn't matter.
80 years.
Katy Tigers are one of the best football teams in all of Texas.
4,200 different students have played.
They could just make every football movie ever out of Texas about the Katy Tigers.
They've never made one.
But they could.
You're named after a woman.
Oh, stop. All right, guys. So anyway, thanks for watching. And again, we will be back. We're going to start doing headlines from the sidelines.
Oh, you came up with that. I'll give you that. It's catchy.
Yeah, so we're going to start doing headlines and our take on all the latest headlines. So we're going to start knocking these videos out like you guys said. You guys want videos? We're going to start knocking them out. We're not the best at breaking down fights, but we're doing the best we can, you know, just with my experience and him being a natural fan of the sport. So we're just going to give it to you how we feel.
And we've got some winners from the show coming.
Yep.
Maybe get them on here.
Yep.
We've got some, there's this kid that's been saving for 2 years, he said.
If you look at the comments on YouTube, Austin Pierce.
Austin Pierce will always comment 14 times.
He's coming, man. This kid is legitimately 100% motivated to come to AKA Thailand.
Before I hit send on a post for AKA, he liked it already.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
As you're about to push send, it says, will be liked by Austin Pierce. Like in line, he's like in queue to like before you click the send button.
He's I think a 21-year-old kid, works 2 jobs, and they're an hour apart from each other, and he finds time to train.
I love that fire, man.
So yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. He's gonna be. We'll definitely get him on here.
He's gonna be the next beast. So
I've talked to him on the phone a few times.
He's gonna come to AKA Thailand, train here, join the podcast, be one of our first winning podcast guys that comes on the show. Then he's going to get in the UFC. Then we're going to watch him break down his fights. He's going to come back, be another guest on the podcast.
Yeah, he's moving here.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that, and then he's got his buddy Greg coming for a year. I mean, just some good stories, you know. We've had some guys that had some troubles with the law that are coming, you know. I mean, just, you know, to change their lives and stuff. So we should have some pretty, you know, we just don't need just superstars on here.
You've had some troubles with the law.
Well, you know, I've been arrested in every country I've ever been in.
Yeah, I do know. I've had to bail you out of all of them.
Oh.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, you have. Well, no.
And Malaysia. Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I forgot about Malaysia. Oh, shit.
Shit.
Oh, oh, man. That's all right. Should we go fun fact? I got arrested in every country.
We'll just start back. All right, guys. The good old camera cut off again, so we don't know exactly where we lost you guys, but we were probably rambling on anyway. But anyway, that was a wrap-up show, and hopefully you didn't miss all that. We had some really hilarious talk right there at the end.
Yeah, it actually really was.
It's so good. So I hope you didn't miss that. But
they can hear the audio. We can just go black for a little while.
Yeah, maybe.
Just leave it on there. Who gives a shit?
Not because we just said it was real hilarious. We were just totally like faking that.
Well, it's gonna be fucking. We laughed at it.
You guys are gonna catch us now because it wasn't that funny, but we thought it was funny.
Leave it on there to see if they think it's funny. Leave us a comment if you think it was funny.
Leave us a comment if we didn't overhype that shit just because we knew it wasn't gonna be showing up anyway. But anyway, so we'll be back here with the headlines from the sidelines.
Yep.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Sounds like your football career. Too much?
Too much.
All right.
Too soon. Too soon. It's only been 20 years.
Good work, Mike.
All right, bro. See you guys later, guys.